Well, here now to react is Oscar Odom, a retired NYPD detective. Oscar, just want to get your reaction. This is tough news. It's a trend we've been seeing for a very long time. What do you make of the core problem here? What's really at the heart of what we're seeing and why it's not slowing down?
Well, first of all, I'd like to give condolences to Officer Ella French and her family. She made the ultimate sacrifice. And once again, this shows that they're not paying attention to the data. The defunding is not working. They're against the police officers. They need to get rid of their own private security details and come out there and see what we do. They're holding officers back. They're not paying attention to the data. We need to have them at the ComStat meetings and have them accountable for the areas and districts in which they represent. They're trying to Monday morning quarterback, and they have no skill set whatsoever to tell these police officers on what to do. And it's upsetting, and I can see why people are running out the door.
Oscar, let's talk about, you mentioned the data, you mentioned ComStat. Let's break down what that means. I look at these issues, we see the high-profile crimes, we see the shocking crimes, but beneath the surface are all sorts of everyday crimes that I think are going unaddressed right now, and the problem is that adds up to the bigger crime. Talk about how important it is to start at the lower-level issues if we're ever going to solve these higher-level issues.
Most definitely. When you start at the lower level issues, you get a chance to nip it in the bud. And also, when these people get arrested, you need to make sure that they're arrested and they don't beat the police officers outside the door. If they get arrested, you need to hold them accountable. If you're going to let them out, you better have some sort of program, because if you don't and you let them back out, they go out there and hurt someone else. The data shows you that murders, robberies, shootings are increasing exponentially across the country, and they're not doing anything about it. They keep on talking and talking about people are dying, lives are being lost daily, and all they could do is all this rhetoric.
So, meanwhile, you've got Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush not backing down on her calls to defund the police, this while paying upwards of $70,000 for her own private security. Oscar, listen to this.
You said you have your own security while almost in the same breath advocating for defunding the police.
The reason why we have these problems is because those that were in power and could have fixed this problem before now didn't, and it cost lives. We're adding more money to the police, but we're still dying. So something has to change.
So, Oscar, this looks to me like the classic passing the buck. The guys back there didn't solve it. It's not our fault. It's not our fault that we're calling for defund the police. It's somebody else's fault. Oscar, how do you address what Cori Bush is saying there?
First of all, I like to always go back to the movie. You sleep under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide. Then you have the nerve to question the manner in which I provide it. We know what we're doing. 99% of police officers go 20 years or more of their career without firing their weapon one time. 99%. For example, New York City Police Department, approximately 40,000 officers going 20 years or more without firing their weapon one time. We know what we're doing. Because something happens and there is some sort of mistake at certain times, then you get upset. Okay, we correct that. No problem. Let's readdress those issues. However, the majority is taking place with solving crimes constantly. Even in this event that we're going through now, we're solving murders, robberies, homicides. And get rid of your security details. A lot of you don't even do ride-alongs. You don't even know what's going on in your areas. If you had to be held accountable for the areas in which you represent, you would be fired.
You've got people who, with private security, talking about removing the security for others. I don't think that plays very well with voters. I don't think it plays very well with the American public. Oscar, so glad to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.